Hello, lovely witches. Dawn here. Thank you for stopping by. This is another episode of Shadow Magic Mondays. I know I missed this yesterday and the week before, so I apologize. Gets overwhelming a little bit sometimes, but I'm here. I'm doing good. Things are good. I'm picking up a lot of extra chores that Skip would normally do, but he's recovering from another surgery, which went really well, and things are going well, so he's doing good. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Luna Divinations. She is on YouTube and is just a wonderful spirit, lovely energy. You got to check her out. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. She does the readings for the collective. She uses so many different tools and different ways of doing readings. You can learn a lot from her just by watching her and listening to how she's getting the readings and the information, the messages. So anyway, check her out. She's beautiful, and I've been following her for a little while, and I just love her channel. Okay, so let's get into this. I want to talk about why intentions don't mean jack. Let's start out with, in my course, Self-Mastery for Witches, I talk to my students about their parents and about modeling their parents, and I challenge them. I ask them to rate their parents on a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 would be perfect, absolutely perfect, as if you had Jesus for a parent. Where would you rate your parents? And many of them will rate them kind of on the high side, like an 8 or 9 even. And I remind them that 10 would be Jesus, the level of Jesus, absolute perfection. And they still, 8 or 9. So when I work with the students who rate really high, and I have them explain to me why they believe their parents were so perfect, were just about as perfect as Jesus, and it comes down to, well, they meant well. They could have been abusive, and they still would have said they're an 8 or a 9 because of their intentions. And what I want to discuss here is how all parents pretty much intend to give their children the best, intend to nurture their children's emotional needs as best they can. And they do the best they can, but the problem is sometimes the best that they can do is not so good for us as children. But it's not about finding fault. You've heard me say this before. If you get caught up in the blame, shame, victim game, you're not going to heal. It's not going to help you heal. It will keep you in a place of being a victim. So I want you to understand, we're not trying to find blame or fault with anybody. And that's especially important with people who feel that if they were to say, well, my lack of self-confidence comes from my mother, that what they're saying is my mom's a bad person. And that's not it at all. Your mother did not intend to teach you to not have confidence in yourself. I'm pretty sure of that. But her intentions of not wanting to teach you that, and that's what happened, you have to understand that the intentions don't mean jack. That the intentions doesn't dismiss what you learned. You still have to recognize you learned it from your mom. It doesn't serve you, so let's heal it and move it out so it no longer is creating what you don't want in your life. Hopefully that is clear. I had a student who, even after I was discussing all of this with him, he still was adamant that his parents were an 8 because his parents were good people. They were loving and caring, but they're human. But they're good. Their intentions were good. So therefore, they're an 8. Even though they had faults, even though his mother lost her temper with him one time and got very angry with him, which he learned beliefs about himself as a result of that. And him acknowledging, this happened and this is what I learned from it, and these are the emotions that I feel. It doesn't matter what the intentions were. The fact is, he learned that he was not good enough. And that's what's important to take away from that. Not that it was his mother's fault. Not that it was his fault. So if we stay away from whose fault it is and just look at the facts, just the facts, ma'am. Just look at the facts. What happened? How did you feel? How did you interpret what happened? Because at 2-3 years old, we don't have any frame of reference, so the chance of misinterpreting the message and what was happening is great. I often tell a story about a woman who was incredibly smart. I mean, genius level. She was valedictorian, she was top of her class, and she graduated college at a very prestigious college and was trying to get a job, and nobody wanted to hire her. So she hired a life coach, and what she found out working with the life coach is when she was 5 years old, and her mother gave her older sister a dessert because her older sister finished her dinner, and never gave her a dessert because she never finished her dinner. She interpreted that as, Mom loves my older sister better than me. And as she grew up, it was, other people love other people more than me. So when it came time to try and get a job, people were picking up, the people doing the interview with her, picked up on that. And most likely what happened is that they rejected her because she was giving off a vibe of, I need to be rejected, because I'm not as valuable as everybody else. So once she healed that and corrected that, she was able to get a job right away. It's just amazing to me how our minds work and how powerful they are. So keep in mind when you're doing shadow work that it's not about, if I admit that I learned that I'm not good enough from my mother, that makes her a bad person. It does not. It absolutely does not. Even the most horrible, abusive mother, you need to learn what you learned, surface and bring to light what you learned from that experience so that you can heal it and move on. It has nothing to do with trying to find out, it's my mother's fault that I'm this way. Because that is not going to help you heal, okay? So just look at it as, this happened, the why, when, where, what, and how I felt. What was the message, what was the belief that I created as a result of that experience? And does it serve me? If it doesn't serve me, let's heal the trauma, the pain, the experience, so that I can release that belief and exchange it or put something positive and good in its place. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. The whole thing of working with and modeling your parents and surfacing all of that stuff can be very, very painful. So please understand you're not alone, that you can nurture your own emotional needs and heal yourself. You don't have to have your parents in your life. If they were abusive, definitely heal and move on. And here's the incredible thing. I have had students who healed themselves and were able to have a grown-up relationship with their parents afterwards that they couldn't have before. It was dysfunctional, it was painful, it was toxic. And then once they healed themselves, they were able to reach out to their parents and have a relationship. Sometimes that doesn't work though, so just be careful with that. Sometimes it can be still very toxic, so be wise with that, okay? That's it pretty much. I just wanted to mention that intentions just don't matter when it comes to what you learned from your parents, okay? They intended the best. Sometimes that didn't come across. Sometimes it was toxic. Sometimes it was harmful. Sometimes you misinterpreted it and made it out to be you're a bad person, a bad child, and you develop bad beliefs about yourself. So hopefully that helps. Please let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your comments. And do something today that brings you joy and makes you feel good. I love you all. And until next time, blessed be.